Camera once again. Called the January 7th, 2019 meeting of Lincoln Park Mayor and Council to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and which will be immediately followed by the invocation by Reverend Bill Clark of New Testament Tabernacle. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray, shall we? Our dear gracious and loving Heavenly Father, I come into your presence tonight with thanksgiving and praise. Heavenly Father, I thank you for our mayor and our city council as we begin a new year and a new council together. And I pray your blessing upon them. I pray, Lord, that this meeting tonight would bring you honor, that everything would be done decently in order and according to your perfect will. Father, I just want to take a moment to pray a prayer of blessing. And this prayer of blessing comes from your word in Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. And this prayer of blessing is for everybody in this room and the families that they represent. This prayer of blessing is for our city, the city of Lincoln Park. This prayer of blessing is for the state of Michigan. And this prayer of blessing is for our nation. It reads, "May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace." I pray this in the mighty name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
We could have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Present.
Higgins,
Present.
Kelsey,
Here.
Parkinson,
Here.
Ross,
Here.
Salcido,
Present.
and Mayor Carnes.
Here. Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. 2019 already. First and foremost, we have someone who has done a great deal for the city of Lincoln Park over the course of the years, quietly donating to several fundraisers, just doing what needs to be done, and was a major supporter for our renovation at the band shell that was done a couple years ago, our major sponsor, I would say. So we have a little bit of a thank you for Carol Bartolotta. So Carol, if you could come up a little bit. We'll tell you what, I'll come to you. How's that? I can. Does it work? Of course.
You turned it on.
For all you've done, we certainly can come to you, so.
Yep. Very nice, yep.
Well, that's all right. You're good where you're at. Carol, we have a key to the city of Lincoln Park in appreciation for your continued work in making the city of Lincoln Park a better community for all. Okay, and it has the official key, and I think it works in several of the locks in town. And we have LP there. We just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you've done. I understand that you no longer live in town, but you still have us in your hearts because you're here all the time. Would you like to say something?
Just, I don't really know what to say, but I was glad to do it for all the fundraisers and everything because I graduated from Lincoln Park and I'll always be a Lincoln Parker, no matter where I'm at. And that's why I did it, to get back to the city where I grew up in.
Well, you graduated. You're behind me.
Oh, yeah,
Very nice.
50 years.
God, 50 years.
Okay.
geez.
Well,
That's great.
We'll tell you what. If you hold it and face this way,
Oh, no, okay.
and and turn the plaque around.
There you go.
I can do that.
Look, everybody bailing out of the background.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very, very nice.
Very good. Yep, very good.
I'm sure that the rest of the council would love to shake your hand and all, but you can stay comfortable here, and then after the meeting, if you're still here, I'm sure. They'll come to you, I'm sure. Okay. Thank you so much. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Carol.
Yep, very good. Yep.
Very nice.
For you. Thank you. Okay, next item that we have, or I have, is appointment to the Public Safety Commission, and it's a reappointment of Thomas Mandernack to the Public Safety Commission with his term to expire on 1/1 of 2024. Okay, next that we have is, I want to give a thank you, and probably we should do a proclamation and do that for the next time, but the Chamber of Commerce in the City of Lincoln Park did a fantastic job with Fantasyland. It started with not knowing if it was going to happen again this year due to a change in the management and such, but it was probably took them about a year to make this happen, and they did a fabulous job, and they're working on taking it down. Those folks probably put in 8-10 hours a day, every day, and for those that have busy Christmas seasons and things, to where you're trying to get your own stuff in and with your families, for them to spend that amount of time so that our Lincoln Park citizens and visitors from all over can staff this and make it happen is truly outstanding. So they have my thanks, and we'll do a special proclamation for them, but led by President Debbie Van Cleve, they did a fantastic job for us, and I just wanted to express my thank you for that, for them doing that. And I have another proclamation that I will be visiting a young lady with later on this week. But it is, whereas Helen Seki was born on November 8th, 1918, and celebrated her 100th birthday, and whereas Helen has been a longtime resident of the City of Lincoln Park, whereas it's great pride that the City of Lincoln Park extends recognition to Helen Seki on this special occasion in her life. And whereas during her long and productive lifetime, Helen has earned the respect and affection of individuals due to her kindness and involvement in various organizations such as the Jolly Bunch. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Thomas E. Carnes, along with the City Council and all the citizens of Lincoln Park, do hereby join together in extending our warmest wishes that Helen had a very happy and joyous 100th birthday, and for a happy and healthy new year.
Very nice.
Very good. Very good.
All right. And I was contacted earlier, or later last week, and that Debbie Dingle has a new aide for our area, and she reached out, and I asked her if she would be kind enough to come and introduce herself at our meeting and to say a few words. So Ashley Hall, if you would not mind, come to the podium. Go to the rostrum.
Thank you, Mayor Carnes, and hello, City Council, and hello, City residents of Lincoln Park. My name is Ashley Hall. I work for Congresswoman Debbie Dingle. I acted as her political director for the past year and a half, and I have just moved over to the federal office to handle her downriver affairs. So if I had business cards, but unfortunately the government is shut down, so I do not have business cards. But if anyone needs to reach out to me, I am a good contact. If you ever need anything from Congresswoman Dingle, you know how active she is in the community, and she really cares about downriver. So I'm more than happy to be your contact and help you with anything that you might need. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting, Mayor Carnes.
How about a phone number?
Phone number, yep, it's 313-278-2936. Yep. And that way you can reach me.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for coming. Appreciate that.
Yep.
And late last week, had a interesting meeting with the Michigan Department of Transportation, the two reps from that office, along with Carol Clemente and her aide Alex were in attendance. Giles Tucker, our DDA EDC director, was also there. God bless you.
Thank you.
And pertained primarily, the discussion was with the speed limit on Fort Street, and how I say, our displeasure with that due to the narrowing of the lanes in Lincoln Park and that the way that our businesses are configured and such, that I don't feel that that is safe for our speed limit to be 45 miles an hour. And went through the discussion of how that was arrived at, and I believe that MDOT is not in disagreement with us over that, but the persons or the groups that set the speed limit for the city on the state thoroughfares is Michigan State Police, and that is the group that made that decision to go to 45. Presented information in reference to our crash data that has taken place on Fort Street for the year. From the time past 2013 and that time when the speed limit has changed, we've seen a double in the amount of accidents, almost double in the amount of crashes that have taken place. Now, this could be skewed by the last 2 years as far as with I-75 being closed down. So we will continue to monitor the accidents that take place on Fort Street after 75 reopens, and then we'll make another case for it to be reduced, speed limit to be reduced. This is a pretty dangerous slope, though, and we would go into this because the recommendation at the time that this was is that the speed to be increased to 50 miles an hour. Whereas I hate 45, I do not wish to see this to become 50 miles an hour. Did have an interesting talk as far as parking goes on Fort Street, and how a plan to put cutouts on in the lanes as opposed to just having the open turn lanes to make it a safer place for people to park to. And that is being looked into. We had a conversation for about an hour and a half in which there were a lot of ideas that were back and forth, and it was inspiring as far as what could be done for the DDA as long for with everything that is on Fort Street. So we've found kindred spirits in the speed limit, that it should be lower than 45, but we have to work in the process of showing that to the state police and what our reasonings are, and that is what we will be working on. And they gave us some ideas for how to apply for grants for the DDA area in particular, and things that they thought might make our community a little bit nicer looking too. So it was an interesting conversation, and learned a lot. We have good contacts. Giles has the information from both of the ladies who have volunteered to help us as we go through with this. So, Giles, is there anything you wish to add in reference to that I'm missing from there, or you got it covered? All right, I'm good with that too. Then we will go to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. The one, approved minutes, regular meeting held December 17, 2018. Two, accept minutes, study session held January 3, 2019, RA Court Facility. Three, reappointment Housing Commission, Gilbert.
So moved. Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Now we have Mr. Gilbert is in the audience, right? We have the capabilities of swearing him in.
Absolutely.
Mr. Gilbert, would you come forward? We'll save you a trip into City Hall later on.
Wasn't expecting that. Wearing my
Just need you to raise your right hand. Do you hereby swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that you will faithfully perform the duties of Housing Commissioner to the best of your ability by saying so help me God?
So help me God.
I just need you to sign right here above your name. There's your name. Your back to me, okay?
All right, thank you.
We're always looking for people to step forward and volunteer, and we ask people to do so. Mr. Gilbert's somebody that has done this for several years for us, and we're very appreciative of that, sir. So, and our thanks to you.
Congratulations, Gilbert. Congratulations.
Why not? You got them all now.
Hey, you
Thank you.
Congratulations.
just signed for the city hall. Why wouldn't I shake your hand?
Okay, so. That,
Sir?
I've made quite a mess here. I get my fingers to work. Okay, we have the first action item is whereas the mayor and city council wish to schedule a study session to get input from the citizens on whether the city should opt out of allowing marijuana-related businesses to operate within the city of Lincoln Park. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council schedule a study session to get input from citizens on whether the city should opt out of allowing marijuana-related businesses to operate within the city of Lincoln Park for January 28, 2019 at 6:30 PM in the John A. Alwisi Council Chambers, 1355 Southfield Road, Lincoln Park, Michigan.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, they're connected. All right. Next item has a cover letter from Dennis Anderson, the Director of Lincoln Park Community Center. And the purpose is to authorize Dennis Anderson, TRM Director of the Community Center, and Austin Carroll, Building Supervisor, to attend the 2019 North American Ring Conference and Expo being held in Buffalo, New York. Mr. Anderson and Mr. Carroll will be attending the 2019 North American Ring Conference and Expo. Both individuals will be taking classes that will aid them in the safe and efficient operation of the facility. At the expo, they will be gathering information on new products and network with leaders in the industry and representatives from all the major arena suppliers. So the resolution is, whereas the mayor and council authorized Dennis Anderson, CRM Director of the Community Center, and Austin Carroll to attend the 2019 North American Ring Conference and Expo being held at the Hyatt Regency Buffalo in Buffalo, New York from Monday, May 20, 2019 through Friday, May 24, 2019. The cost of the conference and expo and lodging will be $1,850 plus meals, parking, and mileage. Meals will be subject to the city travel policy. A personal vehicle will be used. An expense report will be completed upon return from this training. The funds will come from the department's training account number 101.720.960.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
Yes, through the chair. Is Austin and Dennis, are they city employees or are they employed by another group?
They're both city employees.
Thank you.
Anything further? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Next item has a cover letter from our city manager and a resolution to approve fee schedule for the Lincoln Park Animal Shelter. The cover letter is, you may know that we are quickly approaching the opening of the new animal control shelter. One item we must get in place prior to the opening is establishment of the fees associated with its operation. The attached resolution will set the fees for a number of miscellaneous operational matters for the shelter. The proposed fees were developed after reviewing fees established by surrounding communities for similar services. These proposed fees were reviewed by the police chief. Whereas Section 209.01 of the City of Lincoln Park Codified Code states, council may, by resolution from time to time, adopt service, fee, license, permit, application, and user fee charges for its agencies and departments. Said charges to be paid forthwith by the individual or business against whom or which said charges are assessed. And whereas user fees for operations of the animal control shelter have not been established by the mayor and council, now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park Mayor and Council does hereby adopt the following user fees related to the operation of the Lincoln Park Animal Control Shelter. Owner pickup, first time, $30. Every time after, fee goes up in $25 increments. Daily lodging fee, $10. Under owner surrender, $40. Owner surrender animals are only taken from residents of Lincoln Park. A proper ID will be required as well as that animal's current city's license. Adoption fee for sterilized animals, $50. Adoption fee, non-sterilized, $85. Sterilization refund, $35. Sterilization refund given after proof of spay-neutering. Euthanasia fee, $100 per resident. Euthanasia fee, $175 non-resident.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
I have a question through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe I wasn't part of the conversation, but I really didn't know we were not going to be a no-kill shelter. I didn't realize that until I got the paperwork here. So was that discussed previously as far as anyone? No.
I don't think that it was discussed to be a no-kill shelter. It was, my understanding of it is that it'd be a full operation shelter.
Okay, I just wasn't, I didn't pay attention, I guess. I didn't know. Okay.
I have a question, Your Honor.
Yes.
Owner surrender, I understand that's you're surrendering your own animal. What if you have a stray cat, a stray dog that you have acquired, and you went to surrender that? Is that still $40?
Well, the way that that should work is if you have a stray, you'll call our animal control, and under most circumstances, they'll either say deliver it or we'll pick that up.
Okay. My question was the cost, though. Will that be still a cost to the citizen?
Well, it's two different operations there, unless you're assuming that our residents are not going to follow the law and just claim that that's the case.
Well, that's, I'm just wanting to clarify
Yeah.
for. So you're saying, so this is clear, if a dog wanders into my backyard and I call, the dog gets picked up and I'm not being charged?
Correct.
Okay. That's,
Okay, we have further discussion?
I got a question through the chair, and it follows up the pro tem's question there about it, and I don't know if it's appropriate for this discussion or that, or this particular item, on the no-kill issue. I guess I'm already thinking, I guess what I'm saying, when do we discuss that issue, whether it's a kill or no-kill?
That would be your prerogative to make that final decision. If you'd like, we could have that on the next council agenda.
I'd like to see that as a no-kill on the next council. I mean, I don't know if that's appropriate for here, but anyways, just so we can discuss it. We've got the fees now, we're going to move forward with it before we get too far.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion anyways, I don't know.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from our city manager. Pursuant to Section 1 of Chapter 4, appointed officers of the Charter of the City of Lincoln Park, the mayor and council have the authority to appoint a city attorney for the city. This position has been filled by Mr. Edward Zelenak for a considerable period of time. Mr. Zelenak is once again willing to fulfill the roles and duties of this position. City attorney retainer agreement for this position differs from previous year's agreements in two ways. First, it established an annual allotment for the city attorneys regardless of the hours worked. Secondly, the basis for this annual allotment is $100 per hour, which is increased from his previous hourly rate of $50 per hour. In reviewing the billing of Mr. Zelenak over the last couple of years, he was billed in the range of 600 hours per year. The annual allotment is based on $100 an hour for 600 hours. During the years the city was experiencing financial difficulties, this hourly rate was reduced to $50 an hour. The attached retainer agreement is in line with the way other communities handle compensation of city attorneys and is in the lower range of what other communities are paying. That range is $100 to $125 per hour. So then we have the resolution. Whereas the mayor and city council pursuant to Section 1 of Chapter 4, appointed officers of the Charter of the City of Lincoln Park, wish to appoint Edward Zelenak, city attorney for the City of Lincoln Park. Whereas pursuant to Section 4 of Chapter 4, appointed officers of the Charter of the City of Lincoln Park, mayor and council further wish to establish compensation for these duties as city attorney. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park mayor and council does hereby appoint Edward Zelenak to the position of city attorney for the City of Lincoln Park for a term to begin January 1, 2019 and expire December 31st, 2020. And be it further resolved that the mayor and council approve the city attorney retainer agreement for the city attorney heretofore attached as Attachment A, and be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the city attorney retaining agreement on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park.
So move.
Support.
Okay. We have discussion. Mr. Copper, did you want to speak on this first, or is there further discussion? Hearing none, then, oh, sorry.
I have a comment through the chair. This is the same way we handle Schiffman Law for our labor negotiator. I mean, they have a retainer that they're paid. No, they're no longer paid on a monthly basis.
No.
Okay,
As used.
okay. All right. That's all I had.
All right. The clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes?
Ross. Yes. Higgins.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
Parkinson.
Yes.
Salcido.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item we have is, and then resolution to appoint Amy Higgins, Assistant City Attorney. Yes, I will do the cover letter. The mayor and council have the authority to appoint an Assistant City Attorney for the city. Miss Amy Higgins has filled this role for a number of years and has indicated she is willing to return to fulfill the role and duties once again. This Assistant City Attorney prosecutes all offenses against the city or against the ordinances of the city, is a legal advisor to the district court insofar as the prosecution of offenses against the ordinances of the city, and assists the performances of duties of the city attorney in the absence of the city attorney. The professional service agreement for this position is identical to the previous years except for the increase in hourly rate. During the year the city was experiencing financial difficulties, this rate was reduced to $50 an hour. The attached agreement would increase that rate to $80 an hour, a rate more in line with the surrounding communities. Whereas the mayor and city council pursuant to section 218.02B of the City of Lincoln Park Codified Codes wish to appoint Amy Higgins Assistant City Attorney. And whereas pursuant to section 218.02E, the mayor and council further wish to establish compensation for these duties of Assistant City Attorney. Now therefore be it resolved, the Lincoln Park mayor and council does hereby appoint Amy Higgins to the position of Assistant City Attorney for the City of Lincoln Park for a term to begin January 1, 2019 and expire on December 31, 2020. And be it further resolved that mayor and council approve the professional services agreement for the Assistant City Attorney heretofore attached as Attachment A, and be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the professional services agreement on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Your Honor, I just would like to remind everybody that she is not a relation to myself.
That was my question.
Okay, I just wish to say that we are fortunate to have a legal representative team as Mr. Zelnick and Ms. Higgins. We appreciate that. So, clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. The next item also has a cover letter from our city manager. City staff has been in discussion with the owners of the Sears facility and the Lincoln Park Shopping Center regarding the redevelopment of these properties. While it is clear that both owners are interested in redeveloping these sites, staff believes that a coordinated development plan would aid in the development of these properties, as well as make sure that the development maximizes its potential and is done in a way that will benefit the city of Lincoln Park. Both owners have indicated that they will work with the city on this project. This corner of Southfield and Dix represents one of the largest potential development sites for the city of Lincoln Park. The two properties, Sears and the shopping center, comprise over 30-plus acres. Currently, these sites have a taxable value in the neighborhood of $5.5 million. Property redevelopment would not only potentially bring in more tax dollars, but would also spur redevelopment up and down these two major corridors in the city. Because of the city's participation in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready program, the city is eligible for funding to undertake planning projects such as being proposed up to 50% funding levels. MEDC has 3 planning consultants that are pre-qualified to undertake planning projects such as these. Fortunately, Beckett and Rader, the city's consultant for planning and economic development projects, is a pre-qualified firm. So, resolution would be, whereas the city wishes to develop a plan of development for properties located adjacent to the northwest corner of Southfield and Dix to maximize the development potential and ensure it is in conformation with the city codes and desires of the community. And whereas the city is in the process of becoming a certified development-ready community through the Michigan Economic Development Commission, making it eligible to receive 50% funding for development-related planning projects. And whereas Beckett and Rader has a contract with the city for undertaking such economic development planning projects and are one of the 3 Michigan Economic Development Commission approved consultants to undertake such planning projects. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park Mayor and Council does hereby approve the proposal from Beckett and Rader for the Southfield and Dix Development Guide for a cost not to exceed $15,000 with funding of $7,500 to come from the Michigan Economic Development Commission and the city's share $7,500 to come from account number 101-923-880C00. And be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the proposal on behalf of the city of Lincoln Park. I'll move on this.
Support. Question through the chair.
Yes.
Why are we paying $7,500 out of our money to develop the property that belongs to them? They don't have $7,500?
Well, typically with these type of projects, we're the ones taking the initiative to work with them to lay out what we see as the best way to develop those areas. So typically, it's the community, since we're trying to get them, incentivize them to do it the way that we want it to be done, we would pay for that.
Well, to the chair, the question I got to further this line of discussion is, just recently they parked a bunch of F-150s on there, and that's not how that's zoned. So I don't know how this developer is working with the city when they're violating the ordinances and parking those trucks there, and nobody knew about it. Nobody, I guess my question is, I'm for development. I don't have a problem with that, but Grand Sauk was a very, very well-funded corporation, and whoever owns the Sears is going to have some valuable property. And my point is, I don't mind working with them, but it just seems kind of weird that we would give them $7,500 and we're having problems paying for air conditioning and everything else in this city, and because we're waiting to the next budget, and there's no guarantee that what we say is what they're going to do. And then, like I said before, I'm driving over there, there's all these F-150s parked all over there. That's not part of a development. That's not a storage lot. I guess the question I got is, I don't mind, I make that quite clear, working with somebody, but not with the presence of what they've been doing. And I guess that was my question. I mean, I got no problem, helping out, but why, I mean, like I said before, we're gonna pay, what guarantee do we got out of the 15,000 that they're gonna do what the recommendation or the consultant indicates would be a good fit for that property?
They may not.
That's what I was asking, Mayor. I'm just kind of,
Yeah,
that's all I'm
they may-
saying.
They may not, but there is no more valuable stretch of property that Lincoln Park is identified with more than the Dixon, Southfield, Sears, and the Lincoln Park Shopping Center area over there. Now, I agree with the F-150s that were there, and I have contacted our building department official, and he is investigating that and does feel that we have a potential violation that's there.
And they
So
were
that-
removed as of today.
they were removed as of today. Well, the system works. So, but everyone that I've spoken to over the past several years, the main thing is the Sears Plaza, that area there, and what's going to happen with that. And then with the blow that with Sears leaving, that's another major thing that comes in. And I believe that we have an opportunity to help plan what that is going to be, what we would like to see in that location, what the potential is, and show that potential to these other firms. Now, it could be that Grand Saqua has been difficult to work with in the past, and there are things that, maybe things could have been developed before, but I don't know that. But they're willing to take an effort here. So we have it to where it's covered halfway, but it's a chance to do something with that intersection. We can sit on our thumbs and say, we hope these guys are going to develop this, and we hope that they're going to do it soon, or we can take an active role in it. And so my look in, and why I would support this, is that we are taking an active role to attempt to get this fabulous area in our town to be occupied and thriving once again. So you want,
Well, just to follow up with that, I think, is in working with developers, especially two different developers that are not communicating very well, I think we stand to help make sure that the way that they develop is going to be the most beneficial to us. I think that us taking the lead, taking the initiative, may not guarantee that they do exactly what we want them to do, but it does kind of lay out what should happen there, that we can, through our zoning, make sure does happen to a greater degree. I know when you look at what has been proposed on those two, or at least on the shopping center site, there's always a big box. There's a Walmart at one point. I think Kroger's looked at that. Long-term, forgetting the discussion about what those big boxes mean to local retail, all you have to do is look at what's happened with Sears and Kmart facilities. In this area, there's a number that are still vacant or not utilized to the highest degree, because there were large boxes and there wasn't any second redevelopment of those big boxes. I mean, so I don't know necessarily if big boxes are the way we want to be thinking about there. But this gives us the ability to look at what our zoning allows for and what creatively can be done there to actually build the right size of developments and the types of development, more maybe of a campus rather than just a traditional shopping center. And again, you can drive around the Detroit metro area and see communities that have the same types of businesses as other areas. One area just has a straight strip mall, the other area has more like a campus. And go down to, I think, down to Riverview, if you look there on West, there's two different types of developments where you have one of a campus type on one side of Allen, and on the other side, more of a traditional strip with very little in between there. So I think, there's different ways to go about this. What we're going to do is lay out what we think is the best way to maximize the property and what we would be willing to do to help incentivize that. Again, one of the issues that we have when we look at traditional retail establishments or plazas is we have a large onerous parking requirement. But that parking is designed for the worst-case scenario that happens one time a year, not what happens throughout the year. And if we can develop on parking lots, that's, hate to put it this way, more taxable value for us, because the last I looked, you tax, parking lot at one and you tax a building at a lot higher. But even more importantly is you don't create these 200,000 square foot or 180,000 square foot buildings that there are very few people that can get into those. And you start developing, 10 to 15,000 square foot facilities or 20 to 30, which there are a lot of different secondary uses that can go into that. Those are the type of things that we're going to be able to do in controlling it by actually being proactive in the planning by doing this type of work. So I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said, Councilwoman Kelsey.
Councilman. Wait a minute.
Councilman.
Oh, okay. Record that.
But I think that sometimes we have to look down the road to the greater goal, which is to try to develop parcels at the highest use level rather than just let things happen. Because I think we have a unique opportunity today to help guide how those parcels get developed, that if we don't take the initiative, we're not going to have that ability.
Through the chair, I have a question. Yes, sir. In lieu of Sears still being a front runner, or I wouldn't say a front runner, still in consideration of the court and police department, is Beckett and Radar going to put that in consideration when they develop their plans? Is that going to be, they're going to tie the police and court maybe, or there are other ideas? I don't know if you have a comment on that, and I am all for development.
Well, I will say right now, the owner of the Sears property, has a high degree of desire to redevelop it. And it doesn't involve a court or police facility. And I think, again, we're engaging them in terms of how they're going to go about it. As stated in the cover letter, between the two parcels, they're about $5.5 million worth of taxable value. The Sears parcel is about 4.5 million of that. To take that out of taxable value, that means we're going to be losing that amount of revenue, which would hurt our services. So I think it's to our advantage to try to get the owners to redevelop it in a taxable way, rather than take it out of that. So right now we'd be working with Seritage, who is the owner of the Sears property, on what they plan to develop that, and not really look at that as a development for the police and court.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that we're on the same page with Beckett and Rader, because when I read their letter for proposal, they're looking at the Lincoln Park Shopping Center and Quant Park.
So, yeah, and the way that when we first talked way back when they put this letter together, the conversation really was about the whole corner plus the corridor, which is the Dix corridor going north. So that's how this is going to be looked at. It will involve Quant Park. I mean, I think the way their proposal speaks, it's kind of hard to ignore Quant Park, because one of the things that we're also looking at is how to make connections into the neighborhoods there as well, because that's one of the proposals. So we will look at Quant Park, and will there be anything related to the police and court facility? I mean, again, Mayor and Council haven't given us direction to do that yet, but we will be looking at that whole corridor, that whole corner.
But how is Quant Park going to be affected in regards to this with the Sears and the Lincoln Park Shopping Center?
So as we were talking about scoping this out, one of the issues we had talked about was how to connect the neighborhoods to any development, because there's a couple different ways to get there, right? And so in trying to put all the best practices in planning, we have to look at connectivity into the neighborhoods that surround that. And so it's kind of hard not to look at Quant Park as part of the overall, as all of that corridor from Southfield all the way north. And because there's a lot of undervalued properties in that corridor, if you go around and you look, you can see, parcels that are vacant or don't have any businesses. So really, that's the whole corner. Again, I think in the scoping, we were talking a lot about Quant Park and how it works in with this particular development and how we can, maximize that as well. I mean, I guess maybe if you explain to me what your concern is, I can answer it better, but.
It's just, I guess I just wanted to make sure that we're not taking anything away from Quant Park for this,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, well, when you say we're not taking anything away, what do you mean? Just so I'm answering your question properly.
Well, the parking,
Oh, yeah.
access,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Well, these are just ideas anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
no firm action other than possibility of what could be. That's all.
okay.
I guess through the chair.
Yeah.
Matt, you said you had spoken with the property owners for Sears. Have you talked to Grand Sakwa? Are they aware that we're engaging this for this services? Yep. Okay.
Okay, further discussion?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to come back to the Quant Park question. We are not openly or offering that in any way to a business.
No.
I want to make that absolutely
Yes,
firm.
that's correct.
Because I will not vote for anything that gives away Quant Park.
Correct. Not at all.
So I guess that's where the confusion came in, because I was looking for it to read Sears and the Lincoln Park Shopping Center. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the Sears property and the Lincoln Park Shopping Center.
Yeah, I think to be fair to Beck and Rader, I think they kind of put together the shopping center and the Sears property as one in their mind. At least that's the way I take it. I mean, I don't know, Giles, if that's how you take that as well. I mean, all of our conversations with them about it. So it's three areas there that they're looking at.
All right. Councilman Kelsey, do you have?
Yeah, just a final question, I guess, and this will make me more happy, I guess, to go along with the proposal. Is there a document that you have signed by the two parties involved that they were willing to go and do what we pay this place to do, so that we're not caught on that we pay for this and they go, well, you know what, that's nice, I'll use part of this, but I don't want the rest of it, because they're not really obligated to do that. That handshake bit between the city and the property owners goes right out the window, and there's one lawyer in here anyways. And what I'm saying is if that's truly the intent that we have as a city, then we need some kind of document signed between us and the parties involved that, yeah, we'll kick in this money, and so will the state, and we'll pay for Beckett and Rader to do the proposal, but we want a honest effort to go along with that proposal, because obviously they're going to be part of it. I mean, Beckett and Rader's going to talk to them, they're just going to go out there and look at it. If we got something signed between the city and that, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get them to guarantee that they'll do whatever we say.
But I'm giving them $7,500. Thank you, that's all I got.
Do we have a guarantee they'll sit down at the table with us?
If you approve this tonight, I know one of them is going to be sitting down with us tomorrow.
You know, one of them. Do you know if both of them
Yeah,
will sit down?
they both will. Both have, well, one has told me directly that they're willing to work with us on this. And I know in conversations that Beck and Rader's had with the other, and I don't know if Giles, Tucker, I'm pointing out there, has had conversations with the other, if that's, their intent to work with us on this.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, for what it's worth, we have let that property sit there for 20 years and deteriorate, and the city hasn't done nothing, basically. Maybe it's time to try a new game plan.
Yeah. And that's, didn't know exactly where you were going to go with that, but that was going to be my response if you went the other direction, is that the reality is that sitting here hoping that someone does something is not the best way to go about it. I think us laying out what it is we want is a lot better. Again, it answers a couple questions for the developers, what we're going to be willing to do for them. And again, I think we've, over the last couple of years, have collected a lot of information data in terms of, what can happen here in the city. And so we think we can put together a pretty good plan that, again, would let them know how we can help them to bring this development about, but do it in a way that's going to be, more related to what we want to see done there rather than just what they want to do. Because again, I think a lot of times these larger developers, want to do what they want to do. But they know that there's value in doing the development here. And we have a little bit of ability, if we have the plan in place, to kind of guide them to do the things that make a lot more sense for us.
Okay, anything further? Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Reading?
Yes.
Kelsey?
No.
Parkinson?
No.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All righty. Next action item has a cover letter again. I think it is our city manager. And it has to do with schedule of healthcare benefits for all former employees of the city of Lincoln Park who retired or were eligible to receive retirement health care on or before April 22, 2015. As the mayor and council are aware, July 1, 2015, the emergency manager eliminated the health care benefits eligible retirees were receiving and replaced that program with one that provides stipends. At that time, the retiree health care program was costing the city approximately $4 million per year. Soon thereafter, a group of retirees filed a lawsuit against the city, the state treasurer, emergency manager, and federal court system seeking to have the benefits restored. After nearly 2 years within the courts, the federal appellate court ruled that the retirees brought the action in the wrong court and dismissed the case it brought against the state treasurer and emergency manager. The federal judge hearing the case against the city then dismissed that action on the same grounds, leaving it up to retirees to file a suit in the state court system. An attorney representing that same group of retirees reached out to the city, being in a dialogue to see if both sides could reach an agreement without having to file a court action. After a number of months of dialogue, a schedule of benefits was put together that we believe best addressed the retirees' concerns, short of restoring full health care benefits. We have not had a response yet to this proposal from the retiree group. It is my understanding that there will be a meeting to discuss this proposal later this month. The current stipend program provides the following benefits. Non-Medicare eligible, not taking the city's insurance, receive a monthly stipend of $150 for a single, $350 for a two-person, and $425 for a family. Non-Medicare eligible, taking the city insurance, receive a reduction in the monthly premium by the following: $150 for a single, $350 for a two-person, $425 for a family. Medicare eligible, not taking city's offered plan, receive $50 per contract, max of 2 contracts. Medicaid eligible, taking the city's offered plan, received a reduction of $50 per plan on the monthly premium. The proposed enhanced plan would offer the following benefits. Non-Medicare eligible, not taking the city's insurance, receive a monthly stipend of $400 for a single, $600 for a two-person, $800 for a family. Non-Medicare eligible, taking the city's insurance, receive a reduction of the monthly premium by the following: $400 for a single, $600 for a two-person, $800 for a family. Medicaid eligible would have the following options. Option 1, city would pay 60% of the premium. Option 2, city would pay 100% of the premium. Option 3, the city would pay 90% of the premium. Those Medicaid eligible that opt out of the city's plan would receive a monthly payment of $200. Another element of this plan is that we are capping the cost estimate to the city at an amount of 6% of the revenues received in the general fund. For example, that would mean that the year the retiree health care plan would cap at $1.43 million. Exceeding the cap would cause one of three things to happen, either a reduction in the level of benefits or the increase of the premium payment by the eligible retiree, or a combination of the two aforementioned actions. If Mayor and Council approve the schedule of benefits for eligible retirees at this meeting, I anticipate the coverage to begin April 1, 2019, and the staff is prepared to begin the enrollment process and provide information and conduct meetings over the next 2 months. So the resolution is, whereas pursuant to the State of Michigan Public Act 436, the state-appointed emergency manager terminated health care benefits for eligible retirees effective July of 2015, replacing it with a stipend program. And whereas the mayor and city council wish to change the health care benefits for eligible retirees since the emergency manager eliminated health care benefits at that time. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park Mayor and Council does hereby adopt the eligible retiree enhanced health care benefit program, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. And be it further resolved, the eligible retiree shall mean all former City of Lincoln Park employees who retired or were eligible to receive retiree health care and their eligible dependents or survivors who are eligible for such benefits on or before April 22, 2015. And be it further resolved that prior to enrollment, any eligible retiree must sign a retiree health care release that protects the city from any future claims caused by the actions taken by the emergency manager during his tenure related to the elimination of retiree health care benefits. Failure to sign said release will disqualify an eligible retiree from participating in the eligible retiree enhanced health care benefit.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? In this, I would ask that I would be excused as I am a beneficiary of this. So what is the?
Abstain.
Abstain. So as I understand it, Mr. Zelnok, I have to have approval of the body in order to do that?
Yes, you do, Your Honor, and you may recall that this doesn't involve litigation. I previously tendered an opinion to council several months ago indicating that because at best it's a pecuniary benefit to you, and I preface this by saying that I also had my retiree health care removed too, so you have to understand that although I'm not voting on this, my opinion is not jaded. I'm giving it purely as to how you may vote as a council member. The question if you have a special interest or a conflict of interest is gauged by what your interest is in resolution, whether it will enhance you or raise your benefits. And if you look at schematically, you are still receiving far less than you ever would had you been at the status quo. It's my opinion that council members, and there are 3 here, who are members of the system who had the retiree health care taken away, the city clerk, Councilman Parkinson and Mayor Carnes, are not precluded from voting. But if council would like any one of you, because of your own conscience, to abstain, you ask for permission first to abstain, indicating that you have a specific, particular personal interest in the settlement. This is a benefit that's citywide, doesn't just address 1 or 2 or 3 individuals. And council can wrestle with that either way. It's one of those vague line, blurred line opinions in general because it gives you the option to vote because you're not voting to enrich yourself. It gives you the option to abstain if you feel due to your conscience or conscientiously that you cannot vote because you are receiving a benefit regardless of how little. I hasten to add that every time you vote for a water increase or water decrease, you are also benefiting from that too. So put it in that same parameter.
Understanding that, I would still ask for
If I
permission
may
to
join?
abstain.
If I may join with you, I'm going to abstain. I'm in favor of this action, but I feel I must abstain from voting on this.
Okay, so would that be, how would I move on that?
I could move on that if that's
Let's let council move. Customarily, council just notes their abstention when the vote comes, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm sure the former city clerk, who is the real city attorney for 32 years, would not have an objection to that either. So
I just gave you a raise, though.
would you just prefer to abstain or have them permit you to abstain?
I'll permit to abstain.
All right, then we need a mover and a supporter to allow the city council president and the mayor
I'll move.
to vote.
I'll support.
There's a mover and a supporter, yep.
Okay, is there discussion on this? Clerk call the roll for the abstentions only.
I can vote on.
You can vote on your right to abstain. You indicate that you have a
I'm
right.
going to abstain too if the other two are.
But you're going to add Councilman
That's
Parkinson.
three.
You accept that, the mover and the supporter?
I'll make the
Yes.
adjustment, yes.
You know, I hasten to add, this is the first time you've used parliamentary procedure here in 28 years, so.
It happens. Now, is there a question on the abstention only?
It's just a
That's what,
question on
this
the
is,
abstention.
this is what we were voting on. All right, then clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So now we move on to discussion of the
Original resolution.
of the original resolution. I had, my hope for this is that the bodies of the retirees would have an option to vote on this before it became public, but it has been, so can't put the horses back in. But at any point, they will at least be better prepared going into their meeting as it is coming up, that, I don't know if that they were aware of it, but they know exactly what it is that they'll be talking about and possibly voting on. So do you have further discussion? Hold on one second, doing council first.
The only thing, through the chair.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I'd say is this has been kicking around for a while, and I know there's been a lack of communication, I guess, between councils for some reason. I don't know why, don't care. But this particular offer was made a while back, so I don't think there's any surprise to councils on both sides. And the only thing I'm saying is that this issue seems to be kicking around, and for whatever reason, it never gets to the point where it gets resolved. And I think it's time to get this resolved, and I don't think that's an issue, basically, that is going to be a major issue. This is just time to do this, plain and simple.
You know, I don't know if I was negligent that this is moved by Councilman Kelsey and approved by Higgins. I did that part? Okay.
Yep, yep. Nope.
Further discussion from council. We have citizen communications. You have limited to 3 minutes in this circumstance.
Hey, Mayor and Council, Richard Kudrak. I think taking away health care from people that had been basically promised it was one of the worst things the emergency manager ever did. I'm glad the city's being proactive and in some way trying to reinstate their health care benefits. But I simply couldn't follow all those numbers you were throwing around. What is the anticipated cost to the city?
1.4 million?
It ranges because, obviously we don't know what selection people are going to be making. So the range is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5, but the cap this year would be 1.43 million.
We got the money to pay it, right? Thank you.
Yes. To the podium, sir.
Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm Larry Ortis. I'm a retiree. I worked hard for the city of Lincoln Park in my 20 years, as all these other retirees have. I was trying to listen to what he just spoke about myself. I just got a question. Did he negotiate anything, or was any union people, when they came up with this plan, around at that time, that they knew about it, or he talked to any of the retirees that, to come up with what he came up with? And I would like him to table that till we can at least look at it further before you pass it. I would appreciate that, for the service of all these people that came here. They gave us what they gave us when we retired. We were promised that. That's just like you get promised something, you'd like to keep your promise. I know you're trying to do the right thing on giving it back to us, but I would like them to table it just so we can look at it. We have another meeting, like he said, on the 19th. I would just appreciate that you give us a chance to look at it before you pass it. Thank you.
Anything further? Okay, then clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Motion passed.
With 3 abstentions. All right, then we got Next action item is resolved that this is accounts and claims payable. Resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, Jan 19, retiree Medicare, $32,378.24. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, January 2019, SB Actives, $141,063.39. Blue Cross Blue Shield, January 2019, retiree non-Medicare, $30,765.82. 25th District Court, January 2019 payment, $49,059.34. GFL, December 18 curbside collection, $117,193.25. Great Lakes Water Authority, November 2018 water, $194,543.86. GV Cement Contracting, 2018 concrete sectioning, $27,884.14. McKenna, November 2018 building and rental services, $66,558.30. MERS, fiscal year 2018-19 additional contribution, $667,485.48. City Riverview, November 2018 dumping service, $29,864.03. And of these items, the 3 to Blue Cross and MERS are ones that had the check released for the due date.
Move. Support.
Discussion?
Yes, I didn't get a hard copy in my box, nor did I get an email, so for some reason, I didn't get a copy of the payables. So I don't check and see, I guess, or maybe there's a problem with the distribution list, but I was here this morning, and there was nothing in my box and nothing in any kind of email. I don't know if any of the other council got emails or hard copies, but I didn't, either one.
No, I don't recall seeing them.
Yeah.
Did anybody get, because I know there was an email that was sent out on Friday from.
Lisa sent it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
So you did
I got
receive it?
Yeah.
Did you get them all?
I didn't get the email, but I did get the hard copy.
So you'll check into that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And there may be some testing going on tomorrow with emails, just to let you know.
Very good. And then, for further testing, we have the city manager's report. Ms. Koppler.
You want me to take
Oh, I'm sorry.
roll call on that?
You want to vote too? My
No.
goodness. All right.
No, not
Getting
at all.
ahead of myself, getting a little tired. Go ahead. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. I apologize for that. We'll now move on to city manager's report. Ms. Koppler?
Good evening, everyone. I just had a few items to go over real quick with you. First off, I should have the requested information from council regarding recycling to you before the next meeting. Assuming that actually gets done, we'll be looking at putting that on for the January 2nd or 22nd council meeting. There are going to be two resolutions as well. One, I think, maybe both will be on the 22nd, and that relates to the energy efficiency projects for this building. As you might remember from, I think, the last meeting, I spoke that Hennessy Engineer will be providing the engineering estimates for us. They were unable to get everything done for this meeting, and so I know for one, definitely is going to be on the next, and I still have to follow up on the second one, but we'll be doing those energy efficiency, start the engineering to go out to bid for those at the next meeting. The third item I have here, I'm trying to read my own handwriting, which is not very good right now, is to give a quick update on the animal shelter. We're finishing up the work that needs to be done there. We've submitted the registration for the license through the state. They should be coming out within the next week to do the inspection of it. That's really the last step for it to be operational. And once we get confirmation from them, I will give you an exact date when we'll be opening that up. So hopefully that will be happening very shortly. And that's all I had. If there's any questions, I would try to answer those for you.
Yeah, well, I guess you'll have all the information on the 22nd on the animal shelter, right?
Before that, yeah.
The employees and so on.
Yep, that'll all be, well, again, I think we've been focused on trying to get the work done.
Yeah.
So communication probably has not been the greatest on that particular one, but we're getting to the point where it's almost all finished up and we'll have everything, including the budget that, you'll have to adopt as part of the mid-year budget adjustment. So we'll be getting that out here shortly.
Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
the energy efficiency, you say you're gonna go out for bids for, you're talking about changing light bulbs and stuff, you're gonna go out for bids on that?
Well, it's not changing the light bulbs. We'll have to change out all the ballasts, all the light fixtures will have to be changed out. So there's two different projects here. There's the lighting project, including controls for the lighting. The second is the HVAC work. So both of them are going to be over the bid amount, which is $5,000, so we have to bid it out.
Well, when I worked here, I changed a lot of ballasts and a lot of bulbs, so I don't see that to be much of a problem. Even if you have to do it on overtime, it's cheaper and you're gonna find somebody to come here and do it.
It's if you want me to redirect our
Sir,
employees to do that.
I'd appreciate that.
Well, Mayor and Council will have to direct me to do that. Because I think that honestly, we'll be, if we spend all our time doing that, then we won't be maintaining the rest of the buildings.
If you do it in overtime, it's still gonna save money and you'll still get it done a lot cheaper than if you went out and bid it out. It would probably cost you more in engineering fees than it would cost you to do it.
Yep. Again, if you direct me, that's what you want to do.
Well, we're going into snow plowing season and everything else that they,
Ugly word.
yes, I understand, everything else
I hate snow.
that they're doing. There's an opportunity to get the project done on a timely basis, but, we'll discuss it at the time when it comes out, but in my opinion, that you get everything done in a fell swoop.
But this include, I'm sorry, through the chair,
Go
would this include the lights on the outside of City Hall that where the parking lot, when we leave here, is all dark?
Yeah, it would be for all the lighting within the building and exterior.
I have a question to the chair. The Library Commission has already voted to have some lights done and put some lights in our parking lot since, we don't have any. Are the lights going to sync up with their lights? Or is this be a different, since our buildings are right next to each other?
Yeah, I'm not sure what their lighting project is. I know they're doing one, but I haven't looked at the specifics of what they're doing.
I think we need to look into that then.
Well, I think, again, what we're proposing is a comprehensive approach, not just changing a few light bulbs. We're going to redo it so we actually get the savings that is proposed by DTE.
Okay, and a follow-up question. I would like to see a cost comparison to my colleague's idea.
Yeah.
We could have that.
Well, that's, again, what the engineering proposal would come up with what that cost is going to be.
Through the chair, if you don't mind briefly, I've spent a lot of time at Quam Park in the last probably 30 days, and I did notice the Ford F-150s, and I'm sure Ford paid somebody to put them there, and I believe somewhere on Lincoln Park property. So is there anything in regards to taxes coming to the city in that regard?
That's a good question that I was considering there at end of last week to see if there was any personal property taxes that would be collected, so. I don't have that answer right now,
Thank you.
but that's something that we're looking into.
I know they had security guards on site 24/7, so they're obviously paying them also.
But the vehicles are moved now?
My understanding, I spoke with the police chief earlier this afternoon, he said that when they went out there to start ticketing, that they all were removed off of property that's within the city. They're still, I think, all removed into Allen Park's property, it's in Allen
Yeah.
Park.
Through the chair, if I may, on this same issue, those trucks were there for a couple of weeks because they were over Christmas when Dearborn Truck was producing them and they weren't shipping them. And they were in Allen Park as well. Matter of fact, they were all the way up to Big Boy in the thing. And they had security there on both ends, both Allen Park and the thing. And they were just those trucks, those F-150s start out at 45,000 to 80,000. So I don't know if you can tax per truck, but we'd be able to fund something, new court maybe, you know? Why don't you look into that? That'd be kind of that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Make some
that's-
cash.
we are
Board's got
looking into
money.
that.
I was thinking.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I would have to
Used to
say their
come grand
security was
cycle.
not too good, because while their security was there, Quan Park has been hit again with vandalism, so that needs to be taken care of.
Further discussion for the city manager? All right, then we'll move on to the department head report. We have CDBG and Parks and Recreation, and Director Doreen Christian.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I hope everybody had a great holiday. I know I enjoyed it. Just want to bring up some new classes that we're going to be starting. We're bringing them into the Parks and Rec. It's going to be a Pilates bar fit, beginning belly dancing, and a kids Zumba. So you can see that in the current happenings. Call the band shell or look on the website for more information on it. For all these people who are doing their resolutions to lose weight and it never happens, maybe that'll help them. We have the Jack Frost Jamboree Craft and Vendor Show will be February 1st and 2nd. If a vendor wishes to be a participant in it, they're to call Maureen Tobin at 386-1800, extension 1400. The Daddy-Daughter Dance tickets are now on sale at the band shells. The tickets are $10 each. The dance will be held February 9th at 5 p.m. And the Learn to Skate program will be starting a new session on Tuesday, January 8th. It's not too late to sign up. Contact the Community Center at 386-4075 for more information. The Parks and Rec Commission will be meeting here, we'll be meeting at the band shell on Wednesday, January 16th at 7 o'clock p.m. Public is welcome to attend. The public hearing for the 2019 CDBG fiscal year budget will be held on Tuesday, January 21st, here at 6:30 p.m. Applications are available on the city website under the Community Planning and Development documents, or you can contact me via email at dchristian@citylp.com. The public is invited to give testimony on how the CDBG funds should be allocated for the upcoming fiscal year. All department heads should have their request into me by January 14th so I can make copies for mayor and council to go over before we have the public hearing. City-owned 883 Monty renovation has finally started. DTE replaced the line on December 26th, which was supposed to be done in November. So we should be seeing some progress on it soon. Once it is completed, if any council member who would like to go through it at any time, please let me know and we can go through it. It is at the very beginning stages now. They don't even have the water. It should have been set up today. And then we'll be putting it up for sale to a low mod income family. We are going out to bid for the Lafayette intersection program. It went on the MITN system today. The 4 intersections along Lafayette are at Paris Avenue, College Avenue, Morris Avenue, and Rio. The bids will be opened at 10 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday, January 30th. The bids will determine which intersections will be completed based on how they come in, and we expect to have a start date in May. And the Community Improvement Commission will be meeting here at City Hall on January 24th. They changed their meeting dates to the 4th Thursday of the month instead of the 3rd, and we'll have them in the Blue Room because they have a presentation, but public is welcome to attend at that time. That's all I have.
Questions for Ms. Christian?
Sure, I have a question through
Go
the
ahead.
chair. What date did you say for the public hearing for the CDBG?
The public hearing is on the 22nd
Okay,
of January at 6:30, before the regular council meeting.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Doreen.
you.
Ask that you hang loose during citizen communication in case there's a question for you. And then, speaking of such, we will then open it up for citizen communications.
My name is Duchesne, and I live in Lincoln Park. And at one of our city council meetings, it was mentioned about the state redoing Ford Street in Lincoln Park. The way I remember it, when the state started to redo Ford Street between Goddard and Sylvie Road, a $70 million 2-year project, and they did a swell job when they were finished. I would wonder if they said they'd start doing Lincoln Park in about 5 years, so that was about 4 years ago. So whether they keep that schedule or not, who knows? MDOT needs more money.
I spoke with Mr. Duchesne, I spoke with MDOT, and there are no plans for redoing any part of Fort Street.
Oh, then they canceled that item, because I remember reading about what they said. That was 5 years ago, though, so things change. That's what I was wondering. Thank you. I see the politicians in Lansing are planning what they want to do with our tax dollars. I didn't see them mention to make up the money the state withheld under the sales tax statutory program. It cost Lincoln Park over $5 million. I think it was one of the big reasons our city got into the money hole, and we haven't got out of that hole yet. LPTV was blank for over a week. Through the chair, could the city manager tell us what happened? I think it went on the air this afternoon.
Yes, there's actually two different issues going on. The one that caused that, we are in the midst of upgrading our network here, and when the company was in making some of the changes, they unplugged the cable and never expressed to us that they unplugged that cable. And so going through the troubleshooting, when we found out it was off the air, we found that cable unplugged and plugged it back in.
Oh, that's what it was.
But the other issues we're having, one of the programs that operates the switching system to actually put on the programming has gone down. We're working on that. Thanks to Don and in our cable, he was able to bypass all that so we could actually go live today onto the cable as well. So we saw that issue that we're working through.
Okay, thank you. And don't forget to bring your scrap paper to the bins on the Cleophas behind the library. Thank you.
I just wanted to come up here, that I couldn't get up there, come up here before, to thank the mayor and council and everybody for the nice plaque. And that's all I have to say. Thank you again, though. Thank you.
Councilman Kelsey was a big proponent
Yeah, he
of making
kept
sure
saying,
that happened. Okay.
Chris Starzinski, good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank the Hands of the City volunteers who helped with the Lincoln Penny Drop, our New Year's Eve event at the VFW this year. Thank you to Councilman Mike Higgins, who overall organized the event, to Jimmy Cargo, longtime volunteer, Maureen Tobin, City Events Coordinator, and the lady who was able to get us the Stevie Ray Vaughan tribute band. Great band. They even did some Jeff Beck for you people out there that like Jeff Beck, such as myself. Jennifer Smith, longtime Hands of the City volunteer, who actually was who paid to be there that night, but she did a lot to help clean up and everything. So, and actually a very special thank you to the VFW barmaids who were working that night, Stacy in the front and Jennifer in the back, and I know they're paid by the VFW to do our functions, but they work hard, and there's a lot of nice barmaids there, and they never know what they're gonna make as far as tips or anything at these functions, and I just want everybody to know how much I appreciate that they jump in, and I definitely consider them part of Hands of the City. Okay, and we roll right into our big event, the all-day jam, scheduled for Saturday, February 23rd at the VFW. Family fun time is from noon until 4 p.m. This will be kids-oriented, but anybody can attend. And then the bands start from 4 p.m. and they go to midnight. The all-day jam is our big event that all the proceeds go to fund the Memorial Day Parade. So please mark it on your calendar. And there'll be all-day food, all you can eat, raffle baskets, the bands, the family fun time. We're going to put together a lot of stuff. So it's $10 for an adult, $25 for a family, and that's 2 adults and 3 kids. Put that together any way you want. And once you have your wristband, you're good. Come for family fun time with the kids, and then if you want to drop the kids off at the grandparents' house and come back later on and eat some more and drink some more and buy some more raffle tickets. Once you have your wristband, you're good all day. So it's a big event. It's how we fund the parade. We've got one returning band already scheduled, the Edge of Sundown for 4 p.m. It's a band out of Lansing, good rock and rollers. So please mark February 23rd at the VFW Post 552 down. That's how we fund the parade. And we need, I'd like to see 500 people show up and really knock a home run for this event. We really do need $10,000 so that we can pay for all the city services for 2019 and reasonably have $4,500 for the city services in 2020 so that we're not constantly stressed about scraping together enough money to pay for city services by March when the parade is in May. It's always a tight schedule, and I just stress that this is the event that funds the parade and keeps the parade going. And thank you to the VFW who obviously donates to Hall that night for us. If we did not have the VFW as a sponsor for the parade and to give Hands to the City a home, I guarantee you, as I run the numbers, the parade would cost $1,500 to $2,000 more. That's no joke. Raffle baskets. We need raffle baskets donated for the all-day jam. Any type of raffle basket you want to put together. Anything can be a raffle basket. So just go on the Hands of the City Facebook page, contact me. Everybody recite my phone number. Come on, 734-775-2267. See, the first time I used that joke, I got a much better laughter. So time for me to get new jokes. Thank you for the wraparound laughter. I appreciate that. Getting back to the VFW, Post 552, if you know of a veteran of a foreign war, if you know someone that would qualify for Men's or Williams Auxiliary, please contact the VFW Post 552 in Lincoln Park. They need a lot more members. They need more hall rentals. We are trying to keep that VFW open. The Knights of Columbus had a downsize. That was not good. These are very, very important institutions within cities this size. So they've given us a home for a lot of years to put on our events and everything. And so we're going to try to give back. I'm going to get with Jim Bowens. We're going to pick a date in April in Hands of the City at our volunteer meeting. We are going to try to put on a Save the VFW Post 552. More information to come. Thank you, Mayor.
Gordon Gilbert, you threw me a little earlier when you had me come up there. I wasn't expecting that. I just came down here. I just wanted to thank the mayor for reappointing me, to the Housing Commission. I've been on it since 2000, so it's 18 years. And I do truly feel that it's an honor to serve this city and the community. I think, more people should be involved. We have a duty to speak up when we see something that's not right. But we also have a duty to try to do something positive. And there's an old saying that you have a duty if you see a house burning to yell fire. But occasionally you have to grab that hose and help try to put that fire out. And so everybody, speaking to the choir here, you know about, community involvement and that. But everybody, you should really think about getting involved in your community and improving it any way you can. I do want to say one thing with the Housing Commission, we have, there's 5 of us. I've been on the longest, but there's a couple others been on there, I think, over 10 years, and one coming to 10 years. In that entire time since I've been on there, we've only had one meeting that was canceled due to a lack of quorum. And that's, probably a record for this city. And that meeting, we called the people that weren't there that night, and, rescheduled the meeting for the next week and had that meeting. So we've never missed a meeting because of a lack of quorum. We've always, had that, and that shows it. When I first got on, I think some people said, you just want to get on that thing, be a commissioner, for the glory and the prestige. Well, it's 18 years. I'm still looking for that glory and the prestige of that thing. But if there's one good thing that comes of it, being that my name is Gordon Gilbert, I can truly tell people that I am Commissioner Gordon. And so I was thinking Mike Higgins would be the only one that would get that. So, but I just wanted to thank everybody for, letting me, giving me the opportunity to serve another 5 years. And, maybe in 5 years I'll be back here. So thank you. Okay.
Sean Stansberry, good evening, everybody. Through the chair, Matt, have we figured out how we're going to care for the dogs that we get once our shelter opens? I mean, as far as the veterinarian care, are we aligned with any vets? Because I know that obviously dogs have parvo or they can get it. There's all kinds of medical issues.
I can't remember exactly who it is, but it's the same veterinarian that the city has used prior to doing away with the shelter.
Okay, because me and Councilman Parkinson talked about that a couple weeks ago, so I just was wondering.
I believe that's in Lincoln Park vet.
Yeah, he's local. I just can't think what the name is.
Okay, so that vet would be using the euthanasia drugs. If we do go as a kill shelter, that'll be the person that would actually administer that, is that correct?
Actually, we have one animal control ordinance officer that is certified on that, and our other two full-time are going to training, I believe, this week.
Yeah, because you got to be certified through the state to be able to do that because of the drugs they use. Okay. When you guys talked about the Sears property, I know a couple council people did. If there is a lapse between when they close and when we develop it, has the city looked at what they're going to lose as far as tax revenue? Or, I mean, obviously it's hard to gauge if we don't know, but I mean, we looking at that, or is that going to be a problem?
I don't think so. Yeah, go ahead.
Generally, real estate taxes for the business is based upon the opening of the business at the end of the year and the first year. So they'll be taxed throughout the fiscal year for whatever they were there. They'd have to go to the tax tribunal to get a remittance.
Okay.
They'll be taxed at what they're taxed at now.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Good evening, Joyce Murray. Sorry I'm congested, but I'm getting over it, getting better. I just wanted to remind everybody this Saturday, the 12th, from 4 to 7 at the VFW Post 552. They're having their monthly steak dinner for $10 a person, so please show up, be there, show your support. And it's a great dinner from what I hear, so if I'm feeling better, I might partake in that, because who doesn't like a good steak? And then I also wanted to just let Mayor and Council know what great of a resource the city has in the DPS management with John Kazoo and Dave Logan. They've always been very forward and gotten me answers when residents had questions and getting things done that I brought to their attention. So I want to publicly thank them and their employees for getting those things done and the hard work that they do, knowing that they are understaffed, overworked, underpaid. So thank you to the city employees who do all that you do. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one approaching, we'll go to the oral reports of the mayor and council. Council President Breeding.
Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. Evidently, we didn't have any major problems here on New Year's Eve, none that I heard of anyways. I wanted to congratulate everyone who was involved in the Fantasyland. It's very hard when your grandkids get to be young adults. My grandkids, they went to Fantasyland every single year from the time they were born. And this year it was kind of funny. I was going through my Christmas decorations and pulled out a picture of all three of them the last time they were at Fantasyland, and they were teenagers, you know, and so this year I asked them if they wanted to go to Fantasyland. It's like, Grandma, no. So I made a real quick trip over there just on my own. Everyone does such a fantastic job. I understand tomorrow there's a special public safety commission meeting regarding a new deputy police chief. I didn't write down the time here. I have it at home, but 4:30 tomorrow. Do you have any idea who it is that's in line?
Yeah, so there was last week, and I think that was another email that you may not have received. It was sent, though. There was, the Public Safety Commission did interviews of 5 applicants for that position. It was narrowed down to a list of 3. The 3 were Lieutenant Kolakovich, Sergeant Lavis, and Sergeant Coulter, that's right, yes. And based upon that, there's a recommendation going to approval for Lieutenant Kolakovich to be promoted to Deputy Chief.
Thank you very much. I didn't get that email either.
I don't feel bad now.
I didn't get that email either.
All right.
That's all.
Neither did I, Larry.
So you say.
All right, let's, back on point here. Council Salcido.
Yes, briefly. On Thursday, December 27th, I checked out the Cops Care skate date at the Lincoln Park Community Center. I'll call them the cops were skating around, and so were the kids. Fun for all. The event was sponsored by the Lincoln Park Police Department, the Lincoln Park Neighborhood Watch, the Lincoln Park Community Center, and the Lincoln Park Goodfellas. So it's always nice when the police interact with the kids. I was going to put on my skates, but fear and common sense told me not to. Also, a couple of new businesses in Lincoln Park that I've been checking out. The TireMall.com is now open on 4th Street in Winchester. I had a brake job and they lined my rear end on my Focus. And they did a real good job, real clean place. If you need tires or small car repairs, check it out. The other business, I know it's been around maybe a month and a half on 4th Street. You might want to check this out, Motor City Graphics. I've been in there 3 times already. They're going to be making a hoodie for me, but they don't know it. So they do business cards, silk screens, really too much to list, but really check out the facility. It's nice. They put a wall out front. And also, they put a new sign out front, which we'll get into that later on. But one last thing for Mr. Darzinski, if you want to take note, I had citizens during the campaign season tell me, and I have thought of this idea myself, like, I know it's maybe a sore topic when it comes to the city, but in regards to a garage sale, if half the proceeds of the garage sale went to the city parade fund, I think that'd be a great idea. So I'll see who I can get with on that, maybe raise the price, or actually lower the price of a permit for garage sales, because I also heard complaints about the $10 fee. So we can discuss that at a later date. But anyway, I thought that'd be an idea, Chris. Half the funds of a city garage sale go to your parade fund. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to wish Deputy Chief Lavis nothing but great things and say thank you to him for all the years that he's been with us. I want to get that in before he leaves us. Thank you. That's all, Your Honor.
Councilman Higgins.
Yes. I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and a little bit about the penny drop. Of course, I'd like to thank that everybody who helped the hands of the city. A big thank you to our city clerk who won the 50-50 and donated it back to the hands of the city. And also big thank you to Chris. He's our chairman and he's done a wonderful job. We didn't have the huge crowd we wanted, but we did make a little bit of money, which went back to the museum. And again, a just big thank you to everybody involved. I too have made it over to the 2 new businesses and encourage everybody to check them out. If we want new businesses to come to town, we have to go to the business and do some business. It's just that simple. And that's really all I have for this evening. Oh, one more thing, I'm sorry. I would like to thank BC Pizza, who helped us out for the penny drop, and also Save a Lot, who gave us some donations. Thank you.
Councilman Kelsey.
Thank you. And I guess going off of Councilman Higgins' thing, if anybody missed the New Year's Eve function, they missed a good time. It was really nice band, nice location, had great food, and Councilman Higgins took care of the pizza. So it was very good for me personally. I like that. And everybody had a good time, and I think, like I say, if you didn't, you really missed a good function. I mean, it's right in the heart of the city. It's everybody's, having a good time, and it's local, and it supports a lot of organizations. So the other thing is I've seen that the local Masonic temple down there got into the newspaper of donating the coats and gloves to the local elementary school like they do in the past. They did a real nice job. They're in the paper. They do that every year. They take up, do fundraisers and stuff like that, and they help out the kids and that at the elementary school, and it's a nice function that they take on to be part of the community, and I think that's very nice for some of these organizations that are stationed in the community, and businesses included, that help donate food and stuff to different functions. I think that's a great idea for them to do that, and it gives more interaction, and it becomes better relationships. People know what they do, and they also get an introduction to some of the members and some of the people that do that stuff. The last thing I'd like to say is that I hope everybody has a happy new year this year as we first start out, and I hope things go good for everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Parkinson.
Thank you. I also want to thank everybody for the New Year's, and I didn't hear much gunfire, so I mean, that sounded good. Everybody had a good holidays, I assume, so that would be a good one. Matt, that company was it Plunkett and when they're doing the thing for the Dixon Southfield property? The planners? Beckett and Rader. Well, you might want to talk to them about seeing if they can fit the court and police station in that area, because there's a lot of parking lot over there. So just a good suggestion. And I'm glad to hear you're moving forward on getting the energy program started. That's going to save us a lot of money here in City Hall and other buildings when you move on with, one at a time. That's it, I guess. Thank you.
Glad Councilwoman Ross brought up Deputy
Oh.
Chief.
I handed everybody out I'm rewriting the dog ordinance a little bit for abuse of animals. And I handed everybody a copy of what I'm proposing. And I want each and every one of them give me a proposal back of what they would like to see on there. So I'm working on that, and we probably should have that together in probably another month. Because I gotta wait for everybody to turn their stuff back to me. Thank you.
We good?
Yep.
All right. Again, I'm glad Councilwoman Ross brought up the retirement of Deputy Chief Joe Lavis. You know you're getting old when you were part of, or you did the hiring interviews for somebody that is retiring. I did that, I think it's 25 years ago now, maybe a little bit older than that. And of all the things I've done on the department, I consider getting him to come here as be a police officer one of the high points that I've done. He's done a fantastic job for him, and I'm sure that the rest of the council will wish him success wherever he goes. I'm sure that somebody will be gaining a very good employee for that. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Okay.